Okay, so this is our honest thoughts on Last Action Hero. I make no apologies.
You want to... You know what? I had to take the heat for Mortal Kombat, and you left me out there to the wolves. You should have heard what he said afterwards about it.
What, the people that like it are pussies?
Yeah. Yesterday he's like, we should have got a real... He's like, the fucking pussies. And I'm like, where were you when I was talking about this? Everyone's like, Rob hates Mortal Kombat.
Okay, no, if you like the movie, that's fine, but you're not a fan of Mortal Kombat then. This is not what Mortal Kombat is. It is the exact opposite.
Please send all hate mail to him, care of Channel.
I think everybody knows, like, you know, when you're behind the scenes or whatever, people, like, you know, bad talk a little bit more than usual. So just when you were saying, like, you know...
You were unleashing yesterday on Mortal Kombat.
No, that's all I said. No, just you're showing, like, you know, yeah, I got, like, a lot of flack for, like, not liking Mortal Kombat. You got all scot-free. I was just like, fucking pussies who like Mortal Kombat.
I just heard a turn going, whoa!
So I would never say that on camera. Oops.
I'll let you take.
You're not
I'll let you take the lead,
I so don't get it. I do not understand it at all.
I want my gore.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but that's not what we're talking. We are talking about Last Action.
So anyway, as I was saying, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I love this because you have just totally sabotaged.
You like how that works?
Totally. Like now it was gonna be like, oh, I kind of like Robin get Doug's the dick.
He hates Last Action Hero and Mortal Kombat. He called us all pussies.
Well, Fred, let me make that clear. I don't hate Last Action Hero, but I don't think it's very good. And the funny thing is, when this movie came out, everyone kind of had the same thought that we had. Like, okay, this isn't the worst, but it's not a good movie, and it bombed, and all the critics didn't like it. Everyone that went to see it, kind of like Mortal Kombat at the time, everybody's like, dude, I thought I was going to get like, I knew it was going to be a comedy, but I thought it was going to be like kind of like The Expendables or something like that, you know, before that came out. And it was just this very confused film that had good ideas and I'll argue a good heart. I mean, like they're trying to make it somewhat family friendly, even though it's PG-13, but it's just all over the map. And there is a right and wrong way to do satire, and that's the biggest argument I always hear. Well, it's a satire. I fucking
Who cares?
know it's a That's like saying, well, you know what? Disaster movie, I didn't like it. It's a satire! Yes! There's a good and bad way to do satire, and this isn't the worst way. It's...
To boldly flee sucks. It's a satire! Oh, wait.
Yeah, cash ourselves in the foot there.
I'm not gonna defend our own shit. Like, you know.
No, if you don't like it, it's not like, how can you not like Suburban Nights or Kick-Ass? It's like, I get it. I'm not gonna praise us.
The only part I have qualms with, they're like, well, you just ripped off these. It's like, no, we're trying to be satirical. If you think the satire sucks, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. But if you're like, you know, you're just ripping off. No, we're satirizing.
Yes. Now, whether it works or not,
it's called Taboli Flame.
Yeah. Now, whether it works or not, that's up to you.
That's up to you. Yeah, that's fine. We're getting so off track again.
We don't think it's a good satire. Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
not so much. Not so much.
You know, and I think the reason is that the movie that the kid goes in, it's a fun idea. It's a kid going into a Schwarzenegger movie. This is like every kid's dream come true. This is awesome. I mean, I would love to see
when
this.
we saw the trailers, and if you read the plot,
it sounds great.
This should be awesome.
Yeah. But here's the thing. They go into a kid version of a Schwarzenegger film, which was not popular yet. I'd even kind of argue, like, you didn't see it, like, what, Jingle All the Way? When he actually did, like, a kid's film, they suck, and they're not very good. So the idea of going into...
Schwarzenegger... the closest we've ever gotten to Schwarzenegger in a kid's film that works is Kindergarten Cop. And the kid stuff is kind of beside the point.
Yeah.
Like, it's more fun because it really is angry Arnold Schwarzenegger dealing with a bunch of toddlers. Like,
I would argue that is a better satire than Last Action Hero, because that is action Schwarzenegger that we were used to seeing with kids that you wouldn't normally see him in. And that was fun.
Could have
that
used
was great.
more horrific violence, but you know, we got enough. Okay.
No, but it got pretty intense at some point.
Yeah, no, the ending was pretty crazy. Yeah,
no, even the opening, he's like, he's got a shotgun, he's like shooting up people.
That's right. You're totally
that
right.
was a better Last Action Hero than Last Action Hero. And so you got this one where the kid goes in, and sometimes they satirize it. Like the kid will say, you know, say this word, grow up. No, you can't, because it's a PG-13 movie. That stuff's really clever. And when the kid is pointing out the faults in the movie, where are the normal-looking women? Every woman is fucking hot, but then the comebacks are pretty good, you know, it's LA. It's like, the those are good lines and those are good ideas. But then you have, when he goes into the film, if I was watching this film and the kid wasn't in it, just a Schwarzenegger film, this would be a stupid, bad Schwarzenegger film. You know, like he calls out the dogs and he's like, you know, I can have them do anything. He snaps and they're stacked on top of each other. That wouldn't happen in an action film. There would, you know, if there was a cartoon cat in it and he had to team up with a cartoon cat, that's fine, but it would not be in the background and, oh, they're all teaming up with goofy people and stuff. That's not what happens in action film. The one duo, the one team would be the focus.
Well, this is the problem. Like, I got into arguments with people online about it because they're like, well, it's a satire, therefore it gets a free pass on everything. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way, because each satire, even within a satire, has its own set of rules. I'm like, okay, if you're spoofing a Schwarzenegger movie and he goes into a Schwarzenegger movie, then it should be the rules of a Schwarzenegger movie. I have yet to see a Schwarzenegger movie where he teamed up with a cartoon cat, but even if that's the case, there's weird other action movies going on in the background. And I'm like, I don't get what they're doing here.
No, they're trying to combine, they're trying to combine these other cliches, but again, that wouldn't happen in a Schwarzenegger movie. So,
and the biggest, there was one thing that really bothered me for some reason, and he's walking around, they've set up that in this world it's Sylvester I don't know, there's
Stallone in the Terminator.
Yeah, in the Terminator.
Which was clever, that's really funny.
Yeah, and then there's a weird scene though where he's walking and there's Robert Patrick.
Yeah, it's the T-1000.
The T-1000 cop, and I'm like, what? And the kid's like, did you see the dude with it? And I'm like, what is he doing there? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was in a Schwarzenegger film, so now he's in another Schwarzenegger film as the character. Clearly, he's dressed as the cop and he has the mean look and stuff. So the T-1000 walked out. Wait a minute, how's this work? You know, that's what I'm shocked about too. People that are so die-hard about continuity.
Yeah, nerds who are the continuity kings.
Yeah, are like, they give that movie a free pass. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But yeah, that one little scene really bothered me because I'm like, okay, I guess this is just anything goes. We're not even bothering to know what we're satirizing. We're just throwing everything on the screen and seeing what sticks. Like, you know.
I saw this when I was a kid. I saw it kind of the perfect age, honestly. I think I was about 13. And when I saw...
You would have been 12.
Yeah, but probably about 12, 13.
So I would have been 14.
When I saw Robert Patrick walk by, I was like, you know, ha ha ha, and then immediately after I'm like, why was that funny? Why is that supposed to be funny? And it just immediately confused me. I thought maybe when I got older, I would get it more, but no, it makes even less sense.
No. And honestly, the biggest sin of the movie for me, it's like, I could forgive... like jumps in logic or whatever. It's okay, it's kind of doesn't really know what it's satirizing. The biggest sin for me is just it's boring.
Yeah, it's a
boring
movie.
Boring movie. Like when we watched it, I nearly fell asleep.
And I think, you know, there's some scenes that like
not as boring as Junior, where I actually did fall asleep. I've missed 15 minutes of that film because I actually fell asleep.
How'd you say that again?
Junior.
Okay, I think it's Junior or something like
Junior.
that. Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Junior.
But no, and I think, okay, there's a scene where the kid is talking to, like, I think they have him, and I think they have, like, Schwarzenegger's daughter or something who's pretty much grown up, and, like, you know, the kid of Schwarzenegger says, like, you know, if you harm one hair on her head, and he goes, takes a hair off, and rips it in half. Now, I could actually almost see that in an action movie. Like, it's kind of corny, but I could see it flying.
I could honestly see that in Commando.
No. But it's the fact, the music is goofy, they play a cartoon sound of boing, boing, and they make it a cartoon. And that's not what kids want to see when they're seeing a Schwarzenegger film. That's not what anyone wants to see when they're seeing a Schwarzenegger film. So if you saw this as like a really, really little kid, I guess I kind of get it, but... You know, it's kind of like the Space Jam argument. It's like, I saw when I was a little kid. It's like, fair enough, but you're like, no, this is good satire.
Space Jam, though, is aimed at little kids. Like, I could see little kids, like, digging it. You got cartoons, it's basketball, it's Michael Jordan. It's not aiming for anything really high here.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is, but... This film, I don't know, like, how many little kids watch Last Action Hero and don't just want to fast forward through some of it? Like,
well, and that's always one where I think...
just slow.
My guess is that it's kind of like Hercules. I think it's just gotten, like, this kind of cult following of people that are just like, you know, hey, this movie got trashed, but I really liked it when I was younger. You know, fair enough, like it, you know, if you like it. But, you know, don't try to put it up there with, like, Airplane or Spaceballs or any of that stuff.
No.
It's nowhere near close.
No, it's not even... I mean, it's better than the Seltzer stuff. like light years ahead of that, but like it can't even touch like Spaceballs or some of the early Zucker work. Like it's somewhere just dead right in the middle. It's like right in the middle, but between Seltzer and between the higher ups, it's like right in the middle.
I'll tell you the big difference between something like this and something like Spaceballs is that there was much more discipline to Spaceballs. There's much more discipline in its jokes, because here's the thing that I think people forget and they really lose in, like, you know, the date movie and disaster movie and stuff like that, is that there's a million jokes you can throw into any scene, and you have to be discriminatory, and you have to find the ones that work best and contribute the most to the scene and to the joke you're trying to get across. And in this movie, again, in the movie, the kid goes into a movie, you know, and it's a Schwarzenegger movie, so you have to play it like they're really in a Schwarzenegger movie. And again, a great example is Stallone doing The Expendables, which did get goofier as they got along. But in the first film, it's like, it's a satire, but it is a Stallone movie. This is the movie you would see in the 80s if all these people got together.
You want a good like, everybody's like, oh, it's a satire, it's a great satire. It's not. If you want a good satire, watch Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, that's
Hot
a great
Fuzz is amazing,
too.
and it's a great action movie, and it's got gore, and it's got violence, and it's hilarious, and it knows what it's doing.
Yeah, and it plays with the convention so much more. Like, you know, all these people will be shot up, you know, when he goes at the end, it's the big climax and stuff like that. How many people die in that? Nobody. Nobody dies, and that's amazing. That is a pure, we're giving you the violence and the gore and everything, but we're also saying, fuck you, nobody's dying at all. It's a great play on those conventions. And I didn't see anything like that in this. I saw good ideas that were not figured out yet. I saw people, like, they're putting the script together and they're throwing out ideas, and rather than saying, okay, let's pick the best ones, let's have this make sense, they're like, no, just go, it's a Uwe Boll script.
I think the other thing is, like, I never felt, particularly with that kid, outside of a strange early scene where he's burglarized and, like,
I forgot about that.
Cuffed to the radiator, where I'm like, okay, so, like, why are we folding our arms at the same time? It's weird. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're implying, like, no, this is real. See, this is different. In reality, it's not fun, it's scary, and I'm like, okay, and the kid acts it out well, he seems legitimately scared, and, like, it feeds into this whole thing that feels very depowered, like he's completely dominated by this other guy. It's not like an action movie where he can just kick ass, or Three Ninjas or something, or Surf Ninjas. Like, you know, he just gets completely owned and is scared to death. Fine, but after that point, like after going into the movie, and then even in the climax, I never felt any danger for this kid. Like, not once. And that is a difference between other earlier films, particularly like in the 80s, where they would throw kids in danger, and like you felt, like, I think of something like Cloak and Dagger, where it's about the kid who finds like the Atari game or whatever with the spy material on it, and the villains that chase that kid, and like I was a kid, I was terrified. Like, and you felt that it was kind of real, and I'm not saying you have to go all out, but I don't buy that the kid's in any real danger, like in the latter half of that film. It's a problem.
Yeah, here, you were talking about that in Cloak and Dagger. I think of Aliens. I think of all these other films. I think of...
Newt, and Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens, I think of...
that's a hardcore horror film.
You know, even Commando, as goofy as it is, I mean, that kid looks legitimately fucking terrified, you know, in that movie. And if they really want to make this like, hey, we're going to a Schwarzenegger film, how about, you know, the kid, switch it up. The real world's fine. For most kids... It is, you know, it's, you know, you got your movies, oh, I wish I was in an action film. Go in an action film. The action film is really intense, and have it be a satire of violence in the media. Like, that would be inspiring. And the kid's like, oh my god, this shit, if it happened to me in real life, would be really
I've got a knife to my throat.
Yeah, this would be like really fucking scary. And
that's
like,
an interesting idea.
Make it a good satire of violence. You know, do something with it. Do something smart with it, instead of like, hey, notice these conventions, don't these happen a lot? And that's kind of it. You know, and they don't all have to be like that. Like I said, we like Airplane, we like Spaceballs, you know, they're pretty mindless, but they
knew what they were
Yeah, they knew what they were, and they knew how to go about it.
Idea. And they went for broad. See, that's the thing. Airplane is so, and Hot Shots and those Zucker Brothers films, and even the early Mel Brooks stuff, are so chock full of jokes that it doesn't feel slow. Like, their goal was whatever gets a laugh stays in, whatever doesn't get a laugh, you pull it.
in this one, like, just looking for laughs in Last Action Hero, it's a slog. You just kind of sit there for minutes on end and, oh, it's funny, there goes Robert Patrick, and oh, there's a cartoon cat, but it's not much, so there's not a ton of really good action in it. Like, I can't think of an action scene where I'm like, that was amazing. I remember something with a truck crashing through a mansion, and it's like, certainly nothing that stuck with me. It's slow, the jokes aren't that funny, it doesn't really know what it's satirizing, so I'm like, what's the point?
Well, and here's the thing too, and I never got this as a kid. I don't get it now. If I'm remembering this right, maybe I'm not, but the bad guy from the film goes into the real world. He shoots someone, and he says, oh, I just shot someone. I just got go away, you bum, and stuff like that. And he realizes he can get away with much more in the real world than he can in a movie. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, see, that's another thing. It doesn't know what it's satirizing in the real world.
I have no idea what that was trying to do. What world could you shoot someone? It's a bad neighborhood. I get it, but
that only in a movie, and it's like pre 9/11. Like, I get that, but still, like, I was alive in 1993. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, I just watched that, and I'm like, and again, I sort of laughed, but as a kid, I'm like, what the hell are they even really saying?
But it's
like,
satire of things.
It's such a weird turnaround, and I think that is it. I think it's like, I understand making the real world much more gritty and mean-spirited, but people kind of forget that action films back in the 80s and 90s
were gritty and
mean-spirited.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of going in, I really think...
Maybe it was predicting the Kindergarten Cop sort of universe and the PG-13ization of everything.
Maybe, I don't know, but...
Maybe it was ahead of its time.
Maybe that's our problem. Maybe now we're just like, yeah, this is pretty much...
Maybe now it's like, wow, this was made today, this would be... It's like Demolition Man, like it actually is much better now. But no, back then, it really didn't make sense. I would still argue, even if you make that argument, the Demolition Man argument, that's like, no, nowadays it makes a lot more sense. I still think the satire itself it still isn't focused on what most Schwarzenegger movies are. Because it's Schwarzenegger, and the kid constantly points out all the Schwarzenegger tropes, and that's what you're satirizing, even if you're doing cop movies and stuff like that.
If you had gone with a lesser action hero, it may have worked better. Like your action heroes,
Jean-Claude Van Damme,
yeah, your ones that are,
Seagal.
yeah, that it's not quite the uber violence. It's just more sort of martial arts kind of like. Even their films are pretty dark, like, but I don't know.
Yeah, but even then, in those films, when have you seen the commissioner yell and actual steam come out of his ears?
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, what are they spoofing here? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's somewhere in there. I get the feeling they probably started off with like the first draft of the script, if I had to guess, was like sort of what we were talking about, where it's the Schwarzenegger tropes and the kid interacting with them and just movie tropes in general.
The studio got involved.
And then somebody was like, yeah, we have the kid in there. It's a kid in a Schwarzenegger film. Let's make it so that kids can see it, but still kind of make a Schwarzenegger film. So make it like a mix between a Schwarzenegger film and a cartoon.
And what kills me is 1993. This is the same summer we watched two kids nearly get eviscerated multiple times by dinosaurs. That fucking T-Rex scene, like,
fucking terrifying.
Grown-ass 14-year-old in the cinema ready to just shit a brick when that T-Rex, like, burst through the glass ceiling on the Ford Bronco or whatever, and it's like, and the raptor scenes and all of these things, and the kid gets electrocuted on the fence. I'm like, think about that for a second. Steven Spielberg, the kid-friendly guy, gave us something that was insanely
Spielberg, I mean, looking back now, I think because we always sort of give Spielberg, we give him a lot of stuff because he's done
he'll still throw kids in danger.
And stuff. But yeah, he will. I think of like Temple of Doom, and I think of Jurassic Park and stuff. It's like, yeah, he will torture those fucking kids.
Maybe they should have handed it to Spielberg. Though that wouldn't have been what I said at the time. I mean, the director was John McTiernan, and I have nothing against John McTiernan's a great director. They're not all good.
No.
But, the yeah, but the ones that are good are really good. Die Hard. I still think Die Hard 3's the best of the sequels.
Yeah, all the sequels.
Hunt for Red October. Like, that's a classic. I'm not even sure I can blame John McTiernan as if he did a bad job. I think the script just sucked.
Yeah, that's how
you're a great action director, John McTiernan, coming off of Die Hard and things like that, and you're like, no, blow steam out of this guy's ears. Like, he must have just been sitting there going, all right,
Yeah, I'm trying to think, is there any other movie he's done where he's done this kind of humor? And I don't think there is. Even his really bad films, are like, he's never done, Steam is coming out, there's a cartoon cat, he's never done this kind of humor. So you're probably right that it is most likely like studio interference would be my guess. And
Or
again,
just not a good screenplay. Like, I
Yeah.
have no idea.
But again, with it is kind of the same argument with Mortal Kombat and stuff when people are like, oh, but it's a kid, it's a Schwarzenegger movie. No, you do not know Schwarzenegger movies then. You do not know the traditional
Quick,
good,
call them
gritty...
fucking pussies.
No, but it's really true. It's that, if you like it because you want to see Schwarzenegger in a cartoon, fair enough. And you want to see something better than Batman and Robin, fair enough. But that is what it is. It's not a kid in a Schwarzenegger movie. It's not a satire of Schwarzenegger movies. It's this very confused mess that is not god-awful as much as we're like, about it.
Well, I
really is not
I
god-awful.
think we need to make something clear, because the totem pole, there's like a totem pole we have of things we've had to watch for the NC, which is the bar is set so low.
Yeah.
so low. That, when we say, oh, this isn't a great movie, I think people get confused and they're like, oh my god, how can you hate that film? I don't hate Last Action Hero. Of all the films we've reviewed, it's gotta be in the top 20. I mean, we've done things like Jurassic Park, we've done things like Hook.
Of ones that are not that bad.
Yeah, of ones that are like not that bad, or like I argue overall for the problems it has, Jurassic Park's a pretty good film. Hook, I think overall is a pretty good film. Like, so it's in the top 20 of like, okay, this is an A, like this at least is like an A-list, competently enough done film that it's like this isn't embarrassingly bad, but so it's nowhere near the worst thing we've ever reviewed. It's one of the best things we've reviewed. Like, out of what are we on now? Episode 3.
Oh, what number? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't count. I'm sure somebody will have the number.
If I looked at all the films we reviewed, like I would probably throw it in the top 20. I would probably be down near 20. But,
Yeah.
like.
But no, I think the reason we do get so passionate about it is because I think people, humor is subjective. I mean, really, any of this is subjective. But I think this idea that, well, no, you have to defend it. This should be up there with, like, the great satires. I think there has to be this idea of really look at what the great satires are doing and what they're not doing, what they had to say no to, what they said, okay, this is a funny idea, but it doesn't belong here. And you compare the two and you see, I think you can see just how much more the people in the other great satires, like Young Frankenstein and so forth, are really trying much harder, and they're much smarter, and they should be appreciated even more for it. I think that's sort of where I say, no, we really should look at these people that are doing so much more than Last Action Hero is doing, and if you like it, fine, but there is so much more going on in these other classic, really well-done satires that still hold up today.
Yeah, like the Seltzer stuff is an F. The early Zucker stuff and the early Mel Brooks stuff, that's an A. This would be a C.
Yeah. Some jokes work. Some jokes I legitimately laughed at and I thought were clever.
Yeah.
But some, which is better than Seltzer where I get 0. But, it's still some, and I'll even argue that some of the ideas that they're going for are not bad ideas. But do they come through? Do they work? I don't think they do.
Its heart was in the right place, it's the execution.
Yeah. Which is another thing you need more executions. Again, Schwarzenegger!
We're really violent, awful people.
Yeah, we are. But that was the 90s. That was the early 90s. It was violent
That was
and awful.
the 80s and the early 90s.
Before things got really, really PC, which some good things have come out of, but other stuff it's like...
times.
Before the happy, peppy, lighter times. Before the PG-13 ruled the world. But no, and definitely some good things have come out being much more politically correct. I'm not super anti-PC, but it is like, oh man, some of the stuff was so good. I'm not for sanitizing violence. I think sanitizing violence is way worse. No,
because then it gives you this like, oh well, it's okay. You just shoot a guy, haha, he goes down, this and that, and I'm like, no, like that ain't right. Like if you're gonna shoot somebody, then really frickin' shoot somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a sort of
Take that one out of context.
If we were running for politicians, we'd be dead Rob Walker face. If you're gonna shoot somebody, you should really shoot somebody.
If you're gonna shoot somebody, really shoot somebody. Rob Walker, he's not the right choice for people who don't want to get shot.
No, but I mean, this is for the people that argue in Expendables there's like CG blood and stuff like that. I mean, and I get that argument. This is where we're coming from. We're coming from RoboCop. We're coming from Total Recall. We're coming from the Terminator films. We're coming...
grumpy old men.
No, but if you're trying to understand, like, how can someone not like this satire? This is where we're coming from. And that's what that's what most kids were expecting when they saw this movie, and that's what most kids were expecting when they saw Mortal Kombat as well. Yeah, I guess it was sort of the beginning of the PG-13, wasn't it? Because everything started to turn PG-13.
When I think of the 90s, I think two things. Extreme and PG-13.
Yeah.
And two things that, strangely enough, don't go together are extreme and PG-13.
So yeah, honestly, I would not say I angrily, bitterly hate this film. I mean, as much as we yell about it.
I'm Last Action Hero, when it came out, and I saw it, I was completely indifferent to it. When I saw it again, I was still completely indifferent to it. I am completely indifferent to it. To me, it's a C film. If you like it, whatever, take it. I can't even invest enough time to really hate it.
I think even in the review, I say it doesn't work, but it's not the worst. It's not awful. And just for whatever reason, people take out the not and just hear the awful.
Yeah, try getting through Cat in the Hat. Now that film I actively hate.
Yeah, that is like...
Last Action Hero is a masterpiece.
Yeah, compared to Cat in the Hat. There you go, there's a film quote. A masterpiece compared to Cat in the Hat. So no, I think we're more reacting to how people like are so strongly, you can't think that. Of course you can. Knock it off. You can think whatever you want, and like as much as I say, you pussies and stuff like that, it's a joke, it's having fun, it's humor. If you really, really like it, it doesn't matter. But we're trying to show where we're coming from, and you as well can show where
I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna say I like Mortal Kombat and Last Action Hero, so you can send all the
You're just trying to one on me. You're trying to get all hate mail to me, so I see how it works. So yeah, that's about it. We will see you at the next one. Later.